Hey, what's going on, guys? John Shea here from the No Shame Income blog. Today what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about how I actually had my very first software program developed, and I basically took that entire software suite and went out and sold it and was able to make over 10 times my investment on what I put into the software development. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the steps of how I kind of came to coming up with my software idea and showing you what I ended up building, some of the results that I got, how I came up with the ideas around building the features for my software, how I really went after the plan of execution, as I call it, for going out there and really finding the ability to work with the developer and actually get the project completed all the way from the very beginning to the very end. So what I wanted to do initially here is talk a little bit about the idea around the software. So back in 2015, 2016, I was actually working for a digital marketing agency, and we were using a program called Teamwork. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually really liked this particular software. The problem with it was that it just really was not very specific to working within a digital agency kind of business model, I guess you could say. Some of the things that it did, I just didn't really like the way that it was set up. It was very expensive for what it was. If you had a team of, say, like 10 people, you had to pay upwards of $20 per person to actually have access to this. So if you had a fairly small team, you're basically in over $100 a month just to use their software. So that was one of the first things I didn't like, was the pricing was very high, and some of the capabilities of the software just weren't great in terms of kind of organizing everything. I remember the owner of the company would constantly go in and try to redo everything inside of Teamwork, and a lot of people were just having a hard time kind of following the way everything was set up using these checklists, and some of the way everything was organized, it just wasn't really working. I felt like it was constantly a struggle. Nobody was really utilizing it properly. Some of the clients wanted to try to have access to see things, and it kind of became problematic when we would let them in and actually start getting access to certain parts of the system. So I found this to be very cumbersome, and just in reality, it was way too broad in terms of who they were targeting. It wasn't really designed for a marketing agency. It was kind of designed for anybody and everyone that was doing some kind of project management or just an overall having the ability to manage different projects for different things. So with that being said, I wanted to show you here some of their pricing. They ended up, just for their premium version, which is I believe what we are on, we needed a lot of extra file space. We basically would be paying almost $18.75, so almost $20 per user, and you need a 5-user minimum. So this basically was, I think in this particular office we had about 8 employees, and everybody needed access, and because of that, it just racked up in pricing quite quickly. So the next solution I started looking at was a system called Trello, and many of you have probably heard of it. Within Trello, you basically go out and create what they call these boards, and the boards can have these lists, and within those lists you have cards. So this example here they're showing on the screen is the product development board, then in progress is a list, and then all of these different things under that are these different cards. So it just was a pretty good system. It worked well. You could do a lot of color coding. You could share things with different teams. You could drag and drop. It was easy to kind of see what was going on, but I still found a few issues with this. One of the biggest being that I had all these boards, and I had a really hard time kind of figuring out where everybody was. I was having a hard time showing the owner where things were at. I couldn't export the contents into a PDF and show the clients. It just started to become okay, this was good for me, but I couldn't really utilize it as well with the team the way I wanted it to, and I definitely couldn't utilize it the way I really wanted to with my clients. So what I ended up doing is kind of taking all these ideas into my mind, and I said, why don't I build something based around the features that I really want and make it specific to a marketing agency. So this was kind of my brain dump. I just put this together, and this is what I suggest you do too, would be to go out and kind of come up with a tagline of what is the purpose of the software that you're creating. Start coming up with name ideas. Obviously you don't have to do that right away, and really just build out a list of features. So in my case, I wanted a client intake form. I wanted to have a customizable questionnaire. I wanted to be able to upload images. I wanted to be able to create contracts, manage clients, manage different tasks for the different things we were doing. And I really just brain dumped all this stuff into a document and kind of put together some sentences on like, here are the things I want, here's what it's going to do, and just a general outline of all of this stuff. Then what I did was I took it a step further and I went out and I started to get feedback from people. I think I actually compiled it into a different document, but I started to put some of it in here. Here was one person that was kind of giving me feedback on some of the things I thought of. They wanted like alerts for stuff that was like missed deadlines, being able to export data, having like extra security, make sure that was in place so their data was secure. So they were able to start providing me more feedback on things that I wasn't necessarily thinking about, things like security that I just didn't have top of mind when I was initially trying to really think of features. So this is what I would do if I was just starting out with any software is, really find some pain points. Like maybe there's things that you do day to day that you're struggling with. How could you go out there and solve those with a software and help other people that are also dealing with those same problems? So that was really what I did with this. And then what I did is when it came to the actual development, and actually I'll show you now actually. I pretty much started working with this developer. We were able to hire them off of a site called Upwork. There's many sites where you can hire. And once I had them hired, I put together this shared task list where basically we could go through together and just start listing out all the different things that I wanted them to do. And this was nailed down to the very, very smallest details, like being able to have users create passwords or change their password or be able to upload a photo of their profile image. Any little thing that I found or needed to do, we just put it together in this list. And what I did is I kind of marked things based on priorities of how urgent they were that they needed to be done, if they were completed, what the kind of status was, if it's important or not, how important is it low importance, is it medium, is it high, is this something we really need in the software? And then what I did is I actually recorded these short little screencast videos, and this would show the developer exactly what it is that I need added to the software, what needs to be changed, and basically giving them exactly step-by-step what I want. So there was no miscommunication. It was very easy for them to go and do this. And it worked out really quite well because they were actually in a different time zone. So what ended up happening was I would record these videos during the day while they were sleeping, and they would then check them while I was technically sleeping at night. And I would be able to see their replies in the morning, and we would just go back and forth like this each and every day, and it worked out really well. So I literally built this entire project, and as bugs would come up, I'd even mention this and do videos on that. So like here they had a problem with a commenting tool inside of our software, and I was like, hey, I'm doing some tests here and it's not working. So I would then go out and make sure things were being updated or fixed, doing a lot of the Q&A myself, and then recording videos of those problems and showing them exactly how to fix them. So this worked out extremely well. It was very, very easy to go and do this. And I suggest for anybody that's looking to go out there and build their own software, this is something that maybe you've thought about doing, maybe you just haven't taken action on it. Maybe you've been afraid because you think, well, I don't know how to program anything. Well, neither did I. What ended up coming of this, I actually ended up building the sales page for this. I gave away a few copies of the software. You can see Glenn was one of them who gave me good feedback. And I kind of built out a nice little sales page feature, telling people about all the features and all the functionality of it. And when it came all said and done, I was able to take this and go out and actually launch this with a partner who helped me kind of come up with the idea and flesh out a lot of it. And we ended up launching this, and what ended up happening was on our very first launch, we actually did about $12,000 in sales at $197 a year as a price point. And then we then took that same exact kind of model, and we decided a year later, why don't we launch it with a training to go alongside it, show people how to go use this tool and grow their marketing agencies and get more clients. So we actually use that as a second angle, charged even more money. We charged $297, so $100 more than we had done the prior year. And I just wanted to show you some results of the recent one we did. We ended up doing 73 sales. So I ended up earning my share outside of, we had one person refund. I ended up making $10,491. So between the two of us, we did over $20,000 in sales, and that was on the second relaunch of this software. Now the beauty of all this was I only spent $2,000 on the software development costs. Like, it was very cheap because we found a developer who was willing to work for a low wage. We got them to commit to a fixed rate, no matter how much time it would take. And we gave them kind of the scope of the project and what it would be detailed, and they agreed to that amount. So we actually made quite a bit more than, basically more than 10 times our return on investment. Between the two of us, we put in the $2,000 and we're able to bring back in well over $30,000 in a 2-year period with 2 major promotions without any real promotions in between. We just did 2 really big launches off of this, and it worked out extremely well. So what I wanted to show you guys as well is I decided to take all the information I've learned through this process. This was probably a 6 to 8 month process of me coming up with the idea, having the developer build it out, making sure everything worked perfectly, and then actually putting it out there and launching it. I decided to come up with my own program around this. I call it SaaS Evolution. So this program, or rather this training, is something I put together to show people how I did this. And normally I sell this for $9.97, but I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to grab this. If you're watching this video, if you like some of the things I've talked about, maybe you've just been putting it on the fence, haven't gone out there to build your own software, this is now the opportunity to do it. I'm going to show you everything that I did to go out there and launch Evolutely. If you're interested in SaaS Evolution, go check this out. I'm actually going to leave a special discount code in the bottom of the video description. You can check it out. It's going to be only $197. So I'm actually going to give you $800 off what I normally sell this for to the public. It's an extreme discount because I want to give my followers, people that are checking out this video, an opportunity to jump in and really check this out. Again, I was able to invest a couple $1,000s and return more than 10 times my investment. So I'll send you a link to that, and I'm also going to leave a link to a case study that I wrote up, kind of sharing more details around this. It's a pretty long blog post that kind of walks you through some of the things I did, how I came up with the idea, and what I ended up ultimately doing to put this all in action and actually put it out there live. So again, if you guys are interested in doing this for yourself, check out SaaS Evolution and let me know if you have any questions at all. I'd be happy to help. Leave a comment. And if you like these videos, if you're looking for something in the future, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and you'll be hearing more from me in the future. Thanks for checking this out, and I'll talk to you later.